Look, I put aggressively in the title on purpose because, to be honest with you guys, if you're not investing aggressively in today's climate, you are literally being left behind, okay? You don't know it, nobody talks about it, but I'm gonna show you exactly what that means in this video. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about every single detail on how to invest aggressively $100 per week. Keep watching. What's going on, everybody? Alex back with another cryptocurrency video. And look, I'm not here to scare you. That's not my goal with this video. But I'm here to tell you the truth because, in fact, the truth will set you free. I promise that. And we're going to dive into all the details. Most people won't talk about this because it's not common knowledge. I want you to think about today's climate, okay? And tell me if investing 7 to 10% a year can cut it, right? Let's think about it, right? The uncertainty with the election. Let's think about the viruses, right? Let's think about the country political problems going on in the world. All these issues are different, okay? Vastly different from anything else we can anticipate, right? So investing aggressively will safely put you in a position to be free because that's the whole point of investing in the first place. A retirement account, you know, $1 million sounds like a comfortable amount for most people. And $1 million sounds like freedom, right? I've heard it time and time again. Everybody saying they get $1 million, they're gonna retire and just, you know.
On an island somewhere or something like that.
But let me explain to you why $1 million will not cut it 40 years from now when you plan on retiring. Just to give you a hint, just this year, the Feds print 22% of the total monetary supply. 22% of the total monetary supply was printed in less than a year, and just in 2020. But Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank likes to say that if you invest $100 a week, right? If you invest it at an average return of about 7 to 9 or 7 to 10%, you should end your account in about 40 years of 1.5 million or something like that. And if you save 100 a week, it would only be $156,000. So this is important, right? Investing is the important part of this whole entire equation. If you're not investing, you're not going to have a retirement. If you take, you know, the dates of 1980 to 2020, the inflation has been at about an average of 5%. Okay, so this is where, you know, the 7 to 10% a year makes sense and starts, you know, making people feel comfortable about their investments. You know, if I get the 7 to 10% a year, if 5% inflation eats my money, well, I'll be good and green at the end, right? Wrong. The problem is that the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, is reported incorrectly. And it's been reported incorrectly since 1980. Let me explain. Look, guys, I'm not an expert economist or anything like that, but the Consumer Price Index is being calculated the wrong way. Okay, so the alternative that I propose in this video here will actually be coming from the federal government themselves, from the feds themselves. They have used this in the past. In 1980, it was changed, as well as in 1990. And all I'm saying is that the change might be incorrect. It's smart to look at all data sets. So let's calculate inflation the way they did in 1980 and see what we get. Look, the only thing they introduced different was something called geometric weighing. According to shadowstatistics.com, the actual geometric weighing is purely a mathematical gimmick that automatically reduces the weightings of goods rising in price. It has no demonstrated relationship with the consumer substitution of goods based on price changes. I know that's a lot over your head, but if we look at the literal definition of the CPI, it's a measure that examines the weighted average of prices of a basket of consumer goods and services such as transportation, food, and medical care. Again, it's a weighted average of the prices of a basket of consumer goods. And the geometric weighing that they implemented in 1980 reduces, okay? It reduces the weightings of goods rising in price. So it's literally contrary to what the definition, the literal definition of the Consumer Price Index is. Let me keep reading. It's calculated by taking the price changes for each predetermined basket of goods and averaging them. Changes in the CPI are used to assess price changes associated with the cost of living, okay? So literally,
they are distorting the cost of living to you people. Do you understand what I'm saying?
All right, it's getting a little bit too hot in here. Let's get serious. Now you're probably wondering, like, why did they do that? Like, why did they do that in the first place? Well, this is not a video for that. In short, I'll explain it to you, but you can go look up the report for yourself and do your own research because that's the most important thing. But what I got out of it is very simple. The Consumer Price Index is used to calculate how much they're paying people with Social Security. By law, they have to use that to calculate that. So they basically artificially suppress the Consumer Price Index so they can lower the burden of how much they have to pay in Social Security so that we don't go bankrupt and the whole economy just blow up, right? If you read back into the report, that's basically the gist of what I got. They wanted more control of the Consumer Price Index so that they can manipulate it and give themselves more wiggle room for other things. And what it sounds to me is just like putting a Band-Aid on a structure that's doomed to fall. And this is basically what we've been talking about ever since, the Bretton Woods Agreement back in 1944 when they took the dollar off the gold standard, right? Maybe they couldn't keep up with that. So their actual readings were changed, right? Which is a consumer price index. It's a very important reading that everybody kind of looks at. They basically artificially suppressed it on purpose to basically match their ambitions. All right, so enough of the talking and stuff. Let's do the math. Now, I know a lot of this stuff is going over people's head, but just bear with me. It's going to start to make sense. According to the traditional CPI that's currently being used as of today's date, there's about a 209% increase in inflation from the years of 1980 to 2020 in a 40-year span. So if we guesstimate, the next 40 years and say that it's going to be on average what it is now, we could easily see that $100 to get the same purchasing power of $100 today, you would essentially have to have $309.86. Okay, so that basically means it's about a 209% inflation. Again, that's normal. That's what we're used to, right? That's about 5% a year. This is what they've been reporting. And it gets offset, quote unquote, by your 7 to 10% investments, what people traditionally tell you to do, right? It's supposed to offset it, guys. Don't worry. Inflation's not that big of a deal. Let's sweep it under the rug because you're getting the 7 to 10% investments. If anything, you're making out, you're doing better, and the economy is still good, blah, 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 whatever lie they want to feed you. So let's look at this as a retirement. So basically, by the standard of what they're talking about, $1 million will be worth exactly $350,000. Okay, so you lose a lot of money, but the investments will make up for it. It will be more than $1 million, right? That's the goal. Now, this is where it's going to blow your mind, because if we use the same way of calculating CPI as they did in 1980, okay, and you should definitely take this into consideration because the federal government did this. They used it for a very long time, okay, before changing it. Remember, the change is only 40 years old. Okay, but the consumer price index has been calculated for far more than that. So if anything, the old one has more relevance than the new one. Okay, this is only a 40-year experiment, people. So if you use, bear with me here, but if you use the old way of calculating inflation, $1 million, okay, will be worth roughly $47,800, guys. $47,800. 40 years from now. So in 2060, you'd be able to buy just like a Tesla, like a low-end Tesla with $1 million. Let me show you how I got that number. So according to the calculators, you can see here, the real inflation is 1,991%. $100 now will get you an equivalent of $4.78 40 years from now, if we take in consideration the last 40 years and use that as an average. Okay, so that basically means $100 will get you like a pack of gum or something like that. It's crazy. So if we look at that 1,991% divided by 40 years, you can quickly see that your investments have to grow at about 49 to 50% a year. So if your investments grow about 50% a year, you are preserving your purchasing power. Anything over that will be considered a return or actual profit. Okay, this is how you should be calculating your retirement, guys. This is the truth. Even if I'm half right, let's say, these numbers are a little bit inflated and they're completely full of BS, but you guys can go look it up for yourself. They're legitimate in every way, shape, or form, but you can go look it up for yourself. You could see that even if I'm half right, 7 to 10% is not cutting it, right? Even if I'm half right. I know most of you feel it. You don't need like data to tell you that 7 to 10% is not profitable. It's not life-changing. You're not going to get any freedom. You're doing what everybody else is doing, right? It's as simple, straightforward as that. Like, I don't need to really argue too much about that. Now, that was a long way to start the video, but I'm telling you guys, it's very important to understand that because it's going to change your whole entire investment strategy. Okay, if conservative investing is a lot different than aggressive investing. Okay, so now let's get into the investing part. Let's take this $100 a week and turn it into a quadrillion. No, seriously, guys, it's going to blow your mind, but you need $20 million to get the equivalence of $1 million in 40 years. I've been doing more than 49% for the past 5 years or so. Through my methods. Now, keep in mind, this strategy is not for everybody, but my goal is to not make a strategy for everybody, because if it was for everybody, then everybody would get the same result, which would not be effective at getting you freedom. Correct, guys? So I'm going to be putting out a strategy that I know for a fact works. And if you follow it, I guarantee you will get more than 49% and preserve your purchasing power. But you have to follow it consistently and accurately. Let me explain. Let's go over the basics first. And I know people don't like the basics, but the basics are the basics. And without the basics, nothing else will work. So the first thing is you need to cut back. The first way to overcome the fact that you have to get 50% a year, right? You have to increase your investment by 50% a year. The first way to do it is just have more money to invest, right? $100 a week is okay. You could make a lot of money off of that. There's nothing wrong with that for 40 years. It adds up. Yeah, of course. But understand that if you just had more money to invest, the problem of losing money to inflation is not as big, right? So it's much easier to invest when you have more money. So cut back on, I don't need to say this, but I guess some people got to hear it. Cut back on that gym membership. Stop eating out. Cut your subscription services. Only watch Netflix, people, or torrent it for free on the internet. There's a lot of ways of getting free movies. Don't be lazy. Stop spending money on unnecessary things, right? Because having that extra money is a great thing. It's a great thing. It's freedom. 2, increase your income. I know it sounds basic, but it's the truth. It's very easy to invest better if you have more money. And the 2 ways you get money is by cutting back and increasing your income. You can pick up a side hustle, right? You can sell things on eBay. You can increase your income by getting a promotion at your job. You could become an entrepreneur and predictably increase your income. You could become a salesperson, get commission, and work harder. There's a lot of ways to increase your income. It's just that people think they can get by, and just understanding this one fact will hopefully snap you out of it. Let's snap you out of it. Increase your income, people. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs to be increasing their income. Avoid big, bad decisions, okay? Again, this is like another basic one, but most people do not follow it and lose to it. They're worried about investing their $1,000 that they got from the stimulus check, yet they're $150,000 worth of debt. Or they have a Mercedes that they cannot afford and they don't want to get repoed because they'll get fired from their job. Or they have a house that they don't want to live in anymore, but they purchased it because of whatever reason, because someone told them to invest into a house. The big decisions are we're going to really set you back 10 years. So if you avoid it and spend all your time and energy making sure those big decisions are correct, you will gradually be in the right place of mind. You'll be in the right place financially as well. Focus your time and energy on the big plays, right? Like school, like make sure you want to go to school. If you're going to go to school, make sure that it's the right decision and you're going to follow through. Because if you don't, you're screwed. Make sure that the car you're buying is going to give you a return on your investment and you can afford it. Because if not, you're screwed, et cetera, et cetera. The big decisions are everything. Now, 4, have an emergency fund. Okay, now it's called like a double inception. I call it the double inception, but basically you want to have 2 emergency funds. Okay, now the first fund you want to have like times like these. Stimulus check doesn't come through, whatever the case is, you lost your job, got laid off, whatever the case is, everyone has their own problems. You want to have at least 6 months worth of rent and expenses, right? So you want to have that saved guaranteed no matter what, because in 6 months, you'll be able to find another job. You'll be able to find more income. And at the same time, you'll still be able to invest at $100 a week consistently, right? Now, most people won't tell you this, but this is the smart thing to do. Have a second emergency fund. And in my opinion, I would match about 6 months as well. And the reason why I say that is because the second emergency fund will be hidden and nobody knows about it. The first one, your family and friends will maybe, or whoever needs to know will know, right? So they'll know that you have the safety net, right? They'll be like, okay, you have the safety net, let's use it. Now, the second one, the secretive emergency fund, is important because you'll be able to whip it out when you most need it. You'll have that first fund that everybody knows about, right? Everybody will tell you to use it for whatever reason, right? You use this first fund, and while you're using it, everybody's working harder to it because we don't have any more safety net, right? Everybody's working harder. If everybody knew about both of the funds, then nobody would work harder, if that makes sense for you guys. So when a catastrophic event happens, okay, you use the first emergency fund and then have the other one on back burner. Okay. And this is important because you can use it to make money in the future as well if you don't use it. You know what I mean? 5, avoid slow investments. Okay. Stop with the 401k match. We already talked about that. 401k match only doubles your money. They match you dollar for dollar. So that basically means even by the standards of the current consumer price index data set, even by their standards, you lose 215% in 40 years. So by the time you can pull out your 401k, you would have lost effectively 100%, okay, of your purchasing power. Okay, so your money would be worth half. Okay, so you literally lose. It's insane. I've heard a lot of people talk about diversification methods in stocks where they're diversifying a ridiculous amount and they're holding like 50 stocks. Okay, that will dilute your profits. Yes, it's safer. Or index investing, where people invest in S&P 500, they invest in indexes. It generally follows the 7 to 10% of the market. But like I said, you're putting yourself in a situation to lose if you're only gaining 7 to 10%. 50% should be your benchmark. Even if I'm overcalculating, I mean, gaining 50% a year, I mean, it's better to overcalculate than to undercalculate, right, guys? All right, 6, another basic that everybody's gonna just like kind of go over their head. So investing aggressive means that you're putting yourself in a chance to lose a lot of money. That's just the way it is. High risk, high reward. That's the game that we're playing here. But the equalizer in this case will be your actual physical knowledge, okay, what you know. So investing in your knowledge, right, investing in books, seminars, digital courses, podcasts, and consuming information, investing time and money into your education will by far do better than almost anything else in the world. And the reason for it is because you can rely on yourself in any situation. No matter how much money you lose or how much money you make, you'll be able to rely on your skill set that cannot be taken from you. okay? And the skill set will make you money forever. It will increase your income, like we talked about in the beginning. It will make you more money in your business. Your skill set is almost everything, because from that, from your knowledge, you will be able to craft strategies unique to yourself. All right, enough with the boring stuff. 7, okay? Make big bets on fundamental changes in the world. This could be like a tech stock. Gary Vee always brags about how he invested in Twitter and Snapchat. These are big fundamental changes. It does not have to be cryptocurrency. We do cryptocurrency because it's just a whole entire asymmetrical market. The whole entire market's small. The whole entire market is a fundamental change, and it's the best one I've seen current to this day, but it doesn't have to be cryptocurrency. Anything that is a fundamental change, it could be healthcare, like it's some new something in healthcare that you know about. You have to match your investing to what you know best, and find the big fundamental change, and that's what you invest in, because that's what's going to get you the largest return on your investment over time. Again, like I said in the beginning, you want to make quantum leaps. Another thing is I've seen people do is anticipate laws, like with the whole cannabis stock thing, right? People anticipate laws, and if they come to fruition, they can make a ridiculous amount of money. That's the point. You want to anticipate large fundamental changes to get large gains. It's as simple as that. It does require a lot more work. It does require uncertainty and an emotional control, but this is where investing into yourself comes into play. 8, invest in asymmetrical opportunities. It kind of piggybacks off of the last one that we're talking about, but basically anything that is losing a lot. It's been losing for a long time, and now it's its time to shine. So, right now, the S&P 500 in the stock market is the exact opposite. We're at all-time highs, right? So you don't want to invest in all-time highs. Now, another way to do this without looking for like an actual asymmetrical return, because a lot of them could be missing or you just don't know what to look for, you could actually bet on the downturn of market by shorting things, okay? I don't recommend this. I don't do it myself. But that's another way. To asymmetrical stuff, we're not trying to dive too much into that. Watch my other videos if you want to learn more about that. Actually, I give a really good explanation of it here. Go watch that video right there. And number 9, monetize your passion, guys. I know, this list is not extremely detailed, but the important part is that you put yourself in a position to win with your strengths and who you are as a person. A lot of the things I say is for myself. Right? I do try to, give a lot of information for everybody else to reap benefits from it, but you have to tailor your money-making strategies to yourself, guys. That's just the only way. If you're following the leader, you'll always be one step behind, and it puts you in a vulnerable situation. But if you monetize your actual passion and who you are, you will actually work harder than everybody else, which will give you larger than average results. It's as simple as that. The goal here is just to get larger than average results, right? So you have to work larger than average. It's a simple equation. People overcomplicate things. If you want to lose weight, what do you got to do? Eat less and burn more calories. Consume less calories, people. That's how you lose weight. Want to make more money? Monetize your passion and work harder, right? It's about working harder and smarter and putting in the effort. And that effort factor increases when you do something you love. It's as simple as that. I don't know how else to explain it. People can make millions of dollars selling rocks if they wanted to, if they were passionate about it, because they would work harder than all the other rock sellers. It's as simple as that. And number 10, this is more philosophical, but it's the truth. Stay consistent, never give up, and never stop. And just understand that you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get your freedom back, because we are literally in a freedom oppressed society. Now, I know this list is not, again, extremely specific, but guys, I invest in cryptocurrencies. Go ahead and dive into some of my videos. That's definitely an asymmetric opportunity. There's a reason why I do it in the first place. And it's able to get us like a 300 to 400% return. We outcompete Bitcoin and Ethereum, which has historically been the best producing asset in the past 10 years, in the past decade. So you could dive into all that information and just make your life a lot easier by just following what I do, or not. It's your life. But yeah, guys, if you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism. Subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with it and you don't make more than 50% a year, you will get left behind. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Catch you in the next one.